there, everybody. Welcome to Beer with the Boss, the podcast where a guy and his boss share a beer, talk about technology and whatever is trending out there. As you already know, before we start, remember to subscribe to our channel, like the episode, share with your friends, family, and your workmates. Also, remember to leave comments. Your feedback is very important for us, so we can keep making relevant content for you. My name is Rodrigo Matos, and I work at Webera.
Hey guys, my name is Joe Zamboni. I am CEO at Webera and co-host of the show, and we are here to share our thoughts from the front lines and have a beer with you. Cheers to another episode of Beer with the Boss. So what are you drinking today, Rodrigo?
So today I'm drinking a Belgian Pale Ale. This beer, I think it's quite famous. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I had to Google it. And I think it's Leffe or something like that. I saw that there are two ways of pronouncing it, like Leffe or just Leff, apparently. But pardon my French, so I don't really know how to pronounce it. It's quite good, 6.6% alcohol, quite refreshing actually. Today is a quite a hot day here in Brazil, and it's like a blonde pale ale. How about you, Joe? What are you drinking?
I am drinking the very good old Guinness.
Yes,
not the creative last week.
Very good. That's not from the original birthday present we gave you 2 years ago, is it?
No, I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not.
For those who are listening to us, I think we mentioned this in one of the episodes. We gave Joe like a box of Guinness, right? With like, I don't know how many. It was not that much. I think like 24 bottles, I think, was something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that was a good one.
So, today we're talking about podcasting. We're talking about Beer with the Boss. From stouts to IPAs, we've explored the world of beer while picking the brains of some of the most inspiring professionals out there, our guests. So today we want to invite you all to join us as we share our stories, the struggles, and the occasional hiccup, of course, of our beer-fueled interviews. Of course, remember also that the only thing better than a good beer is a good beer of a good conversation. So, Joel, I want to start asking you, how did you come up with the podcast with Beer with the Boss? Where did this idea come from?
The idea of doing a podcast we had for a long time. Like since the beginning of the company, we talked with many people that joined the team and left. But until we got our gringo, we didn't have, which was Jake, we didn't have that idea. So since we share, like we have our internal, how can I say, our internal happy hours where we meet once a month, right? Or twice a month now because of the English and the Portuguese versions. We had this, and then it was like, did he come up with the name and with the logo that we still use today? So yeah, the Beer with the Boss. And then I registered the domain, and the rest is here. It's like we're here. We found out this too. The first episode is like one of the hardest thing, and I think we got lucky with the pandemic, is that many people start to produce tools to help us out with remote recording, things like that. Because before was like always studio recording, things like that, and we didn't have any ways to do that. We tried to do remote recording and was bad. So the first episodes we end up recording as Twitter. There are Twitters. There was like a live streaming option, or still have. I think it's Twitter.
Twitter Space, I think, isn't it? Spaces,
yeah,
I think.
Twitter Spaces. Yeah, Twitter Space. And we used to record on the Webera channel, on the Webera account, and it's not supposed to be used as that thing. So every time that we had to get an episode from the Twitter Space, we had to export the whole data of the account, so we could have access to the few audio files that had the episode there, and then we can use and do recording and then publish. So it wasn't a good thing, but it worked. It worked for a few times, for I think 2 or 3 episodes that we record like that. But it was fun.
Yeah, shout out to Jake as well, if you're listening to us, Jake. I remember when you guys started the podcast, and Right now, we have this opportunity to record the episode using a tool and then produce the episode before we launch it. But in the past, it was live, right? Because anyone that followed Webeta on Twitter could just listen to you guys recording, and it was fun. I guess like more. I don't know. I'm not saying more real, but like more challenging, maybe more challenging.
We used to do the comments in the mid, like, "Oh, we're recording," things like that. So we would say like, "Oh, we'll cut this on the final version," things like that. So was fewer listeners, like live listeners, but like we know that we're gonna make public after. I guess I like the idea of having that kind of conversation. It's good. We should do more. Like we should do some extra things. Like an example, I think we're talking about having like having a day that we record from live a pub or some like we're going to the factory for the beer factory here, something like that. So yeah, we could do definitely do something like that, and then we use after people can hear us on Twitter or anyway.
Absolutely, yeah, that's a great idea. We could broadcast.
I think we did it once on LinkedIn too, right? Remember that?
Yes, I do. I do remember that. I guess it was one of the only times, if not, yeah, one of the only times that my network didn't work and just like I dropped, and it was so frustrating. Well, for every episode, we have one beer each. Some episodes, of course, sometimes we don't drink, and it makes sense. Like we're not alcoholics. Okay, so
Not yet, right?
how do you choose your beers? Do you have any? Like, do you think about them before, or do you? How do you do it?
Yeah. So I normally go to the store and try to find a beer that is different. Like I want to uh, talk about new experience. Right. Last couple of episodes, I'm using most Guinness because like I bought another box, but anyway. But I normally try to find new experience so I can talk a little bit about the beer and expose the listeners to new ideas so they can drink. I don't like too much of drink like Pilsen beers, like flat
Mm-hmm.
beers. So I normally like Europeans or custom or local brewers, things like that. But yeah, normally is that, and I tried not to drink the big one so we can have a short episode.
Yeah,
How
and
about
don't
you?
go
How
live.
about you?
You don't go live on Twitter after or LinkedIn
Exactly.
after. So yeah, yeah, I do the same. I go to the supermarket and I just have a look at their beer section, try to find something that I haven't tried before or something that at least I haven't tried in one of our recordings. Today, I didn't have much time to choose my beer because, of course, I didn't have time to get the beer cold, and I have to have beer very cold. So I had to go straight to the fridge in the shop and get like a beer that was cold. So I saw this one, the Belgian one that I haven't tried before, and I was lucky enough that it was cold. And yeah, I'm starting to look online for some different beers as well because the options are ending in this store near my house. But there are still quite a lot of beers that I haven't tried there. Some like very big bottles.
Cool, yeah, man. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to think about the episode. Like podcasting is an experience, right? We are learning every time that we do one. We listen to ourselves. Like the mic's not good. I guess this is the beginning of like our thing, right? There are people that have many, and it's not our core business in any way. So it's like
It's for
we
fun,
are,
right?
yeah, we're literally doing this for fun and learning, producing content and try to help you out with some things that we do. Like an example, we notice what episodes are you listening more, and we try to bring new content. Like we know that we have to bring content about Rust because we had a lot of people listen to Rust. Maybe we should produce some content ourselves, or maybe we should invite some crazy dudes again to talk about it. But it's not many. There are not many people on Rust right now. But remote working was a very successful one. We talked. We're exposing I think the next episode we will talk about again. It will be very good because we have a guest that has experience on managing remote teams working, so it'll be good.
Yeah, and there are many challenges, right? Recording like from home. Like just now, my dog started barking, and you have like your family. Suddenly, the pizza arrives, and you have to go to the door, or just like the uh, doorbell is like ringing and stuff like that. But that's the fun thing. It makes it real, and we're doing it for fun. We're not doing it to like be famous or anything like that. And it's so rewarding when like I get feedback from my friends. For example, I have a friend who lives in Canada, and he's thinking about starting like a career in agile, and he listened to our episode about Scrum, and he said he was like open mind. He opened his eyes and his mind to the world of agile projects and the agile frameworks. And today I had a lunch club meeting with a guy from Philadelphia, and he was telling me that he's really trying to get into development and to work with maybe with DevOps. And I was like, hey, listen to our podcast, because we talk a lot about DevOps. We give a lot of advice if you want to like start a career in this field, and I'm sure you're going to get some insights there. So it's so rewarding to be able to say that to people like, hey, we are producing content that can help you somehow, even if it's just a little bit. It is rewarding.
Yeah, like we are talking today about like what can we say today? It was like, yeah, let's talk about the experience of doing a podcast. It's a good thing. Like we are not big podcast. Maybe we one day will be, but now we can at least tell someone about our experience. We record like I don't know 25 or something roughly between the two
Something like
seasons.
that.
Yeah, so it's 25 or something episodes. It's 25 weeks that we had to work on a text on. It's a learning
And
experience.
drink
It's a
beer.
very and drink beer exactly.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about we started talking about the fact that the first few episodes were recorded with you and Jake on Twitter, using Twitter Space or Spaces. I don't remember the name of the tool. We tried some different tools, right? What was your favorite so far?
We tried Riverside, and then we tried Podcasto. Now today we're trying Zencaster. We tried recording on Google Meet, and I think we had one Vimeo also, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember. I'm not sure. Maybe.
I think everybody is coming out with those tools. One thing that we notice, like every tool has a different good and bad thing. Like we look for tools that try to improve our audio quality or try to speed up our flow because we don't do the editing, right? We will not have this time. I think I did once the editing on a tool that used to convert the audio to text, and then we could edit the text and it would do the things. Yeah, but besides that, there's a guy who edits for us, help us with the editing, so we can make sure that we're publishing every on weekly consistency. So that's a recommendation. Find someone who can help you with the editing. There is some tools coming out. I guess the Riverside is a good one. The problem with Riverside, I don't remember why did you change.
We changed, if I'm not mistaken, because of the pricing. Because it was, as it is for fun, it was way too expensive for us to pay for the professional plan. I think then more than one people would have access to help editing or etc. Otherwise, we would have to share our credentials with freelancers and stuff like that. I think it's something like
Yeah,
that.
we didn't like. Oh, I remember. Yeah, there was this podcast tool that I have my voice there. We can edit it now and replace me, at least with some AI thing. That's why we tried to move. I don't. I think it was that. No, I think it was because of the editing through text. we thought that we speed up our process, but they end up not speeding up, and went back to editing. Now the Zencaster we are doing because it has a feature that exports directly to Google Drive, and then we can share directly with the person, so we don't have to do. Because I think one of the blockers that I create every week is that it takes a long time to export, and then I do some procrastination because I have to wait the thing, and
And
end
because
up
you don't have anything else to do, of course, right, Joel? You don't nothing else.
and then end up breaking the whole process. So like, okay, there's Zencaster here. It seems we're testing today. It seems there's a processing quality, better processing after. So we hope to remove some of the noises, which will help the person who does the editing or the editor. And also automatically exports the files to Google Drive, which is also another interesting feature that will help us out because I don't have to do that and nobody have to do it. He actually can get the files. I think it's just one step that I have to do here, but mostly fine. I don't have to keep waiting to download the file and put it in a specific place. That's hard.
Yeah, and if you have you out there listening to us, if you have you work for like a podcast platform and you want to sponsor us, just contact us at beer with the boss at any of our social media, and we're open to trying your platform, of course.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
Joel, well, it's been a very very interesting and fun road. And I want to ask you if you would do it again, would start the podcast again, if you could go back in time, and what would be the advice you'd give someone interested in starting their own podcast? Would you just say go for it, or
It's maybe too early to us to be like giving advice to anyone, right? Because we're still doing for fun, not having too many people listen to us. I mean, we have maybe 10 to 20 people listening to us every week now. But yeah, I definitely do recommend it. And just start doing. Yeah, that's my advice.
that's great. It's fun. It's real fun. Some of my friends in the past invited me to start a podcast and said, let's start, but especially after the pandemic hit us, everybody was working from home and doing like Zoom calls, and it was like the moment of the boon of the podcast as well worldwide. And some friends were like, oh, let's do a podcast, and we're like, okay, maybe one day, but we'll never do. So when you invited me to join and help you with Beer with the Boss, I was like, wow, it's actually fun. Should have done that in the past as well, because it is quite fun, and I hope that we can keep learning. And I don't know if we're ever going to be famous or anything. That's not the plan, but I hope we can keep having fun, sharing good beers.
Yeah, I think that's the most important. Definitely something that we I like, and I feel the need every week to record. We may need to change some point because like sometimes it's Friday afternoon and we're recording the podcast. I was like, but we started to drink the beer and then we go talk, and that's a good. One thing that we did today was like talk a little bit more about the episode, and that I think helped a little bit more to be more relaxed and into the mood of recording the episode. I mean, we recorded like about 20, 25 minutes. He ended up being an episode of between 15 and 20 minutes after the cuts. So it's short if you think about, but it's also it doesn't last just the 20 minutes. You have to do some preparation, things like that. So
Well, Joe, thank you so much for
thank you.
being with the boss so far. Thank you for today's episode, and I hope we can carry on sharing beers and inviting nice people as well. Like, we had great guests so far. Our last episode was so great. We had like 3 guests with us, and the conversation was flowing so well. And I hope we can carry on inviting nice people to talk to us. So also, if you're listening to us, if you want to join us for a cold one, just let us know. reach out to us in one of our channels, and it will be a pleasure to talk to you. Shall we come back next week, Joe? What do you think?
Of course. Thank you, Rodrigo. Thank you for joining our podcast and helping us out. It's good. Appreciate it, man.
It's my pleasure. Awesome. See you next week then, Joe.
See you next week. Bye-bye.